As promised last week, this week we made some cooked bacon for the dolls. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. Alright, so I've cut off a small portion of our bacon cane that we worked with last week. If you haven't seen last week's video with the raw bacon, the link will be in the description box, also on the blog post, and it's the video right before this one. So we made this about just over 2 inches wide, so we need to kind of scrunch it up. We want it a little narrower. And now we are going to slice it again. I would love to have some wet wipes, but I am out. I have one dried wet wipe left. I keep forgetting to put them on my list. So let's cut some slices. Now you're going to see me do something today that I don't normally do. I am going to bake on a ceramic tile because it makes the later steps on making bacon a lot easier. I'm going to be fastening my bacon down, so I don't care in this case if the back side is on the shiny side. That's okay. If for some reason you're going to have yours loose, you'll need to bake it on a paper plate and then use then move it to the tile for the later steps. Now, we have our bacon sliced. It's a little narrower already. We're going to curve it. Because when you cook bacon, that side that has, this one's a little too thick. We're going to skip it. The side with the meat always shrinks, with this meat strip, always shrinks more than the fat side. So we're going to start by curving everything. Make it nice and curved. Okay, that's our first step. Everybody's curved now. Now, we're going to, we don't want it adhered to the tray yet. Because what we need to do is we need to kind of make it bumpy and curvy, and you know, bacon goes all over the place when you're cooking it, and that's kind of the fun part of this project. Some of it will lay almost flat and some pieces will be super bent up. This one is really thick, so I'm going to kind of down. It's okay if you get your fingernails in there. It's up to you how much curve and how many puckers you want. But just keep moving it around until you get what you want. You get a piece that looks like what you want. I don't like how that's looking, so I'm going to turn it over. There. This one's a little on the thick side. Alright, I'm happy with these. Next step, we need to do some coloring, because this still looks raw. We're going to do more coloring after it's out of the oven, but right now we are going to take some, this is kind of a reddish brown. I would call it a brick red, or a brownish red, or a reddish brown, depending on how you look at that color. And I'm just scraping some off with my knife. I prefer to use a craft knife, but my craft knife is clear over on the other table. It's okay that it got on there because this is just our first coat of color. Now, if you're going to not have your bacon glued down, you'll need to do this on both sides of your bacon. So if you're doing this on a paper plate so that you can do that, you'll have to do both sides. Make sure you get the edges. And remember, this is only our first layer of color. And get every bit. Now, I have some darker brown. Just kind of do that and then wipe it over. Now, if your dolls burnt the bacon, you might want to put just a touch of black on there too, but my dolls didn't burn their bacon. All right. If you've got a bit of the underside showing, be sure that you color that. Make sure the edges are all colored. And now this needs to bake at 230 degrees for about 10 minutes. And because this is on a ceramic tile, it's going to take longer to cool off when it comes out of the oven. So keep that in mind before you start the next step. When this is baked and cooled, I'll be back and we'll go on to the next step. All right, so our bacon is all cooked and cooled now. So while they're still stuck, because like I said earlier, I'm not going to have the backside showing at any point. This step will be much easier when it's stuck to this tile. Amber gallery glass paint. This is a water-based paint. It's made to replicate stained glass, but it works really well with clay. And we're going to brush it over. Our bacon already looks pretty good. What this will do, it goes on cloudy, but it dries clear. This stuff is compatible with polymer clay. It won't give us any issues. And it will dry shiny. And it will become translucent. It will become an amber translucent glaze over this. And what that will do is it will make our bacon look greasy, which bacon is. And just brush it over. And my tile there's either something on the back of my tile or the tile is not completely level. So that's that clicking sound. My tile is making a noise. I apologize for that. Try and hold it with my fingers so it doesn't do that. Just a little more. Didn't quite get out enough. Now be careful when you put your lid back on that you don't mangle up the tip of the bottle. I've done that before. Now since this is water-based, it will wash out of the brush with soap and water. Also, if you get it on your hands, it'll go out with soap and water. So this now needs some time to dry. There's occasionally, in an older bottle, there will be these little strings of dried paint stain down in the bottle. Just pull those off your project if you see them. All right, make sure everything is coated. And I'm going to let this dry. It'll take a few hours probably to dry. When it's all dry, I'll come back and we'll take a look at our finished bacon. Alright, so our glass stain is now dry. So let's go ahead and pop these off. You might have a little bit of trimming to do around the edges. If it does that, just pull it off. You might need a craft knife for some of it, but if a little bit pools on the edges, it just kind of looks like grease around the bacon, so it works. But that is how easy it is to make some cooked bacon for the dolls. I hope you enjoyed this project. Be sure and check the blog post for photos. And the list, there's not much of a list this week, but a little bit of a list of what we used. Be sure and find the Facebook page. The link is always in the description box. And I will talk to you later. Bye.